Embro95, congratulations, you're the first one here. I'm just gonna keep this real short today. Probably not do a whole long time here. Bruno's up and about right now, and that's when I usually like to try to keep him the most company. He's been up for a little bit here. I don't want to be too long. He's kind of hovering around me. It's almost as if he doesn't want me. He's like, no. He's like, I need you more. Stay away from the computer. So how's Bruno doing? Let's start off with that, I guess. For those of you who are just tuning in, it's good to see you guys too. So I guess. Oh, did he just lay down? He just laid down right behind me. All right, he's down now. So testing we've done so far on Bruno. He's had an ultrasound, he's had X-rays and blood work, and nothing has been revealed through any of that. The last things for us to be able to do with our vet is a stool sample, and they have some pain medication and a food stimulant that they usually use for like cancer patient dogs that are refusing to eat. That's supposed to help them to try and start eating again, which I'm going to go try and do. The vet did say that I could feed him chicken from like a Costco chicken without the skin, or deli meat. And this morning, to get the pills down, he ate the deli meat just fine. So I'm actually going to go pretty soon here and go grab a Costco chicken and treat him to probably some of the best chicken he's ever had in his life. But he's got some extra pain medications that are supposed to be kicking in that I have to go pick up once I get a stool sample. So I got to get a stool sample from him first. When he does finally go, he is drinking okay now. He's starting to get up on his own, but it's real kind of like, I mean, sometimes I have to help. It just depends on how long he's been laying there for. Sometimes he's going for like 10 to 12 hour stints of just laying and not even moving. Like he didn't even try. Doesn't even try to move. The only thing that moves is his tail, and that's it. And so at some point, I got to force him to get up. And I've been force feeding him, which is probably, I don't even know how I don't even know how he still likes me. It is absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen it. It's true love. When you force feed your dog, they resist completely, and they still love you for it afterwards. So I don't know. I don't, because let me tell you, it is a complete fight to try and force feed this dog. This dog will never eat vegetables. Dog mom, I can't get him to eat vegetables to save my life. He has never eaten vegetables. I've tried multiple times throughout history, and he will not eat any vegetable. And even if there's too many vegetable-looking things in his food, he just refuses to eat it. So there's no chance on that. So anyways, that's kind of like the status on him right now. So he is drinking pretty good, still peeing. So he's at least got that going for him. The fact that he can actually muster the strength to get up on his own now is a good thing. I'm not sure if that's because the pain medication is helping him to get up, but he is able to at least do stuff a little bit. But that's yeah, man. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm hoping the Costco chicken is going to be the grand savior here in all of this. So we'll figure it out. But I just wanted to stop in and kind of give you guys an update on Bruno. In between stints where he's sleeping, I have been working on some stuff, and I want to kind of just show you a little bit what that was, and that's in the title for the day today, SPX Bearish Butterfly on the weekly chart. And some of you may be wondering, like, what do you mean? What is this bearish butterfly? A long time ago, I brought this up as a talking point with you guys. There's something called Gartley patterns. If you've never heard of them before, Gartley harmonic charting patterns are based off of Fibonacci numbers and ratios, and they basically help you to identify when there's going to be a particular pattern that's going to unfold that may lead you to understand why price is moving in the direction that it's moving. This is a really old. I'm looking at some notes right here. Looks like these harmonic chart patterns have been used since 1935. So they've been around for a while. This is nothing new. I've mentioned it to you guys on a couple different occasions in the past. But I stumbled upon this one because I was looking at the SPY, as I was looking at the SPY, I was like, this is really starting to look like a Gartley pattern. I'm wondering if it's there. So I went ahead and pulled up a couple different charts, and so I'm going to share with you guys what I found. And if you're using TradingView, which is what I'm showing you right now, you can actually pull these up, these indicators, so that they flag for you. You don't have to actually do the work on trying to find the Fibonacci sequence inside of the numbers. And it did flag for SPX. And this is on a weekly chart, by the way. This is not a daily. This is a weekly chart. To get a flag like this on a weekly chart is massive, especially when you consider the size of this butterfly. This is a bearish butterfly that we have right here. And the starting point for this signal is back on August 15th of 2022. So when you consider the total pattern starts in August of 2022 and completes in July of 2023, it's almost a year's worth of data. Remember, each one of these candles is a week long worth of data. So this pattern played itself out here successfully, meeting all the requirements necessary to make a bearish butterfly pattern. What I did is to add to this. There's hold on a second here. Let me pull up a picture here real fast. This is a copy that I got from a website, SiriNotes.com, I guess. I don't know. I found this in here. This kind of does a breakdown of a bearish butterfly pattern and shows you all the Fibonacci points and what you're looking for on where price movement's going to be moving towards. And the idea here is that price is going to come down, and these are going to be your target Fibonacci points over here: 0.38, 0.62, 0.79, 1, 127, 1.62. And as price is moving, this would be obviously a bearish target 1 for selling points, and then a target 2. And I went ahead and labeled those on TradingView. They don't have the 1.27 in here, so if this looks a little bit different than the chart that I just had up on the screen, then you'll understand why, because the 1.27 should be in here somewhere, probably right around this range in here. I should probably move this down just a tad. The 1.27 would probably be somewhere right around in here. Actually, let's see. Yep, 1.27 is going to be right around there, more than likely. So anyways, what I did is I took a slope from the downtrend of the top that we had in the beginning of January 2022 down to the bottom. I took that same slope, copy and paste, and pasted over here to this side over here, and I'll explain to you why I did the exact same slope. This is a suggestion. This is not necessarily me saying I think that we're going to move the exact same slope as what we had previously. I'm just trying to suggest that this is a possible slope to get to this target zone area for price movement. And I do think that this will probably play out. And if you're wondering when is the final time frame for the end of this, if it were to match or be close to this slope here, when would it complete this price movement on the SPX down to somewhere? So if I had to guesstimate, somewhere around like the 3,400 range, plus or minus 200. So when do I think it would get there? And I would suggest that it would probably get there somewhere around April of next year. And you're probably going like, holy crap, that's so far out. These things don't move fast, guys. These recessions, don't happen overnight. Recessions take long periods of time. Sometimes a recession can take up to 9 to 10 years before seeing a complete turnaround. If we consider the start of this recession, the beginning of 2022, which is when the top was found, then you're congratulations, you're almost 2 years into a recession, if that's what they end up calling this. So you still got possibly 8 more years to go with this. Good times, right? Good times. So buckle up. They're long rides, and I know nobody likes to hear that, but that's what it is. That's how the market plays out. It's not always something that happens overnight. But that's what I'm kind of looking at, and I think that a retest of this specific level right in here around 3,300 on the SPX is a potential testing point. If we get some consolidation in here and then a breakthrough eventually through this 3,300, there's a very good chance that this drops down and retests the levels down here at around 2,500. On the SPX. Now, a lot of people, that's where some people start gulping and they go like, holy crap, SPX down to 2,500? No way. And yes way. Very much yes way. And I know it sounds scary, but I think there's actually potentiality for movement even further than that. But anyways, that's something to be talked about at a later point. I think the more focusing point that I'd like to target is this April time frame for this SPX drop down. But to add to this, because I feel like there needs to be some supporting data that may kind of add to this, and I want to provide that supporting data for you here. That kind of is another trend that would support the idea that this movement is going to occur the way that I'm suggesting it's going to occur. Remember here that April is the target time frame for the SPX to drop to those levels. Up on the screen that I'm putting up now is I've got in the blue line, I've got the 2-year Treasury bond yield. I have the 10-year bond yield on the gold line, which you can see is exceedingly driving up faster than the 2-year currently. This is on a daily chart here, so this is a daily plot, and then you can see in the background SPX, which is what I just showed you. I have SPX in the background on the ticker here. The slope that I have right now. This is a time Fibonacci, by the way. And this time Fibonacci is retraced from the top here down to the bottom here, showing where the significant points should be. Let me take out some of these. Just so you can see that the green spot. I had identified two different time points. The top of the SPX, the bottom, and then this last top that we just had more recently, and drew a time Fibonacci from the top to the bottom here. And sure enough, the Fibonacci was able to dictate where exactly price was going to start moving down again, almost precisely right on the dot. And one of the interesting things here to note is that if I again take the same slope and apply this same slope that I target here, drawing a line from the top down to the bottom, a negative 34 degree slope, and I apply that same negative 34 degree slope to this time Fibonacci here, where does it point up with a completion of this price movement? And the answer to that is May 1st, which is dang near right on top of that April time frame, because I think it was April 8th is what I showed you guys, is what it was saying back here. Actually, it's April 22nd. My bad. April 22nd is where I have this drawn out to. So May 1st and April 22nd, two different ways of looking at where price movement's going to be heading to, and kind of confirming. So I'm using Fibonacci's that look at price movement. I'm looking at Fibonacci's that look at time movement, and using slopes to come up with these potential price movements for the market. Now, the interesting thing is between these slopes, and you're probably wondering, like, why the heck do you have the yields in here, the bond yields specifically mixed in with this. And what I want to share with you is that there's some commonalities here. You have in this first time section in here, in this time Fibonacci zone, you can see there's a very obvious uptrend on both the 2 and 10-year yields, which is inverse to price movement in the SPX. Likewise, as price is moving, as yields are coming down, there's a little bit of a trend up here towards the end, but as the yields are coming down for the most part, you have an inverse relationship once again where price is moving upwards, except for just this. It's not inverse, perhaps maybe this last portion right here, but the rest of it is inverse. And then you have a top that's found as the yields continue to drive upwards, and you see the market starting to trend back down, finally hitting that inversion again, or not inversion. This is what happens when you're on a lack of sleep. Inverse relationship to price and yield movement. So yeah, I think this quite nicely kind of builds the idea that the direction that I think that this is heading is unique and is a repeating pattern that has been ongoing since the beginning of 2022, especially to the yield movements. And the other factor about this is that you're about ready to see the 10-year be the 2 to 10-year inverted yields are starting to head towards normalcy, which is where the 10-year is going to be above the 2-year, as the 10-year is increasing much more rapidly than the 10-year, or the 2-year rather. So yeah, when that happens, one of the things that I suggested to you guys that we needed to see we needed to see yields dropping in order for us to know that we're about ready to hit the big recession part. Is it possible to have yields increasing further and still have a recession instead of seeing them decrease? And the answer to that is yes. It is absolutely possible. The idea that you have to have falling yields to have the big portion of the recession occurring, the part where they can't ignore the fact that it's recession, doesn't necessarily have to be that way. You could have the inverted yields between the 2-year and 10-year crossing back over and continuing to head up higher. This is where I want to bring in a specific video that I retweeted out a couple days ago, I think on maybe the 1st or the 2nd of this month, and where we have Rick Santelli talking to us. Hold on a second here. I got to change the. There we go. Trying to make it a little bit easier on your all's eyes. This is where we have Rick Santelli coming in here and talking specifically about this yield issue, bond yield issue. And I think it's a 6-minute video. And I just want you to hear this because I think this is really, really, really important to hear, because it may help you to understand what it is that I'm trying to say. It may be more impactful coming from Rick Santelli than it does coming from me.
I personally always find anniversary dates very key, and I can't help thinking about September of '81 when we had the all-time high closing yield just shy of 16%. So what I'm talking about here might be dancing between the raindrops. You never want to go against a market that is burning to the upside, but you might want to give it a pause if it looks like it's going to back away a bit. But in the grand scheme of things, I think rates are going higher. So let's go to the charts. Like I said, not my best work, but high, low, perpendicular, midpoint. We always pay attention to those, especially when one of those points is the all-time low closing yield at 0.5%. So you take the high, you take the low, you connect it, you find that midpoint, you draw a perpendicular line. And what you find is it just keeps you on the straight and narrow. Those are very key. The more important the spike levels are, whether it's a key high or key bottom, those make it work that much better. Now, this chart is really off scale. Remember, when you're doing these charts, you got to use logarithmic paper. This is just a rough gauge, but there's your near 16%, SEP and 81 for your anniversary date. And the whole point of this chart is that we have a lot of potential room to run to the upside. So if somebody asked me and held a gun to my head and said, listen, the worst case scenario, where Treasury rate's going to go 10-year, I'd say in the next 7 years, you should be able to see 13.5%, 14%. Yes. Now, I'm not saying we get there, but I really want to stress you do not want to jump in front of this right now. But if this week closes under 4 3/4 and the high yield close remains in the 460s, you buy the market looking for a bit of a retracement to potentially get back down to 4 1/4 to 432. Or if it gets to 4 3/4 on a closing basis first, you liquidate the trade.
So you buy TLT below those levels. In other words, beta yields are going to go down in the short term. Otherwise, we're looking for. Why are rates going higher? It's because the economy is gangbusters, easy. Or because
Tyler Matheson. Everybody clap for who loves Tyler. I love Tyler. And what did he bring up today? A great Chicagoan, Milton Friedman. And when he did, one of my 50-year veterans from the trading floor called me and said, "Boy, he's spot on." I had many meetings with Milton. That if you want to know where inflation has taken the markets and why, just look at government spending. The vigilantes have new horses and they're riding, and I really do think that is the answer. We are spending too much. We are not learning to cut back. As a matter of fact, I think we're out of control as we approach a $2 trillion deficit, and this is the market's way to get Washington's attention.
That's always been the case, though, hasn't it, to some degree, Rick? So
why QE.
13%?
QE changed everything.
Yeah. Right. So do you think that the Fed, whoever the Fed may be within the next 10 years, is actually going to allow a rate that is above 13%?
You can squeeze a water balloon 9 ways from Sunday, but eventually it pops out somewhere. They are running out of little tricks to pull out of their bag, and in my opinion, the quantitative easing removed many signals in the market that now it's trying to put back in place. And they could do as they wish. If they keep tinkering with this, the problem is we have too many large economies that are going to be in the same boat. And who's going to end up buying this paper?
Right.
So the presumption here is you think the Fed put is done, and it requires the discipline for the Fed to stay the course. And I agree, and I'm a student of history, probably less so than you, but I think all the way back to the first shenanigans, I think of long-term capital, and I think of the Asian financial crisis, and I think that's where monetary accommodation went out of control, and I think it wasn't the 2007-8, I think it was 1997-98. BOJ, I think they're the biggest wild card here. And I heard over the weekend stuff that told me YCC is done, and I think that's a slingshot to U.S. yields higher.
Oh, absolutely. And the Bank of Japan could actually pull the plug that drains the water on everybody's bathtub. And that's the real fear I have, is they have no idea how they could be the catalyst. They could be that one ping pong ball you throw in a room with a bunch of mousetraps with other ping pong balls, and then all of a sudden things start flying.
Mousetraps and ping pong balls.
So, Rick, let me ask you. So let's say rates just keep going up so much that they crush the economy, right? And so then do we start to see rates really come back, or do you see stagflation and
I think Guy hit part of it. In 1987, when we were in the pits, what we learned was that when equities get really ugly, you see the Treasury complex start to do better. I think the signals being distorted has changed that to some extent, and it's going to have to get much uglier to get the attention of the bond market. But I think that dynamic will come to the rescue, but it's going to come to the rescue late in the game.
Karen mentioned that we've had rates at these levels before, which I totally agree with. It's a rate of change thing, though. And think about 15 years of being conditioned liquidity, zero interest rates. People are not prepared, in my opinion, for what we've just seen over the last 18 months. Speak to that.
Oh, yeah. Not only are they not prepared, I think that when many look at the markets and they scratch their heads, they just don't understand that the Fed held the beach ball underwater for so long, basically a decade of zero that shouldn't have been at zero, that ultimately the force that this thing's popping out, I think, is justified.
If it pops to 13, if the trajectory is very steep, does that imply that the bounce back is going to be steep as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The 1/3 or 2/3 retracement on some of those GAN numbers should be every bit as aggressive. That's why I do think we're going to get a pause. And I think we're going to consolidate here. But I urge people not to try to pick tops and yield. Let the market tell you you can dance between the raindrops a bit.
Okay. But again, your big call tonight sounds like north of 13% in the next 10.
And that's the grand scheme of things. Yes, when I take a look at the long-term monthly charts, that's what I see.
Rick, it's always great to have you.
And your
Come
easel.
by anytime.
Thank you.
North of 13 is what he's saying for the 10-year yields. And then I'm gonna throw one more on top of you, just because I think this is kind of interesting as well. This, I'm not positive this is Rick Santelli, but I think it is. But I want you to notice that there was a mention that he said in there to Chicago. Chicago Bears is something that you should be thinking about, and what we know about who's in Chicago, and listen to this very carefully. I think this is Rick Santelli, but this almost sounds like a death threat to me. Listen to this.
Right, but we're not there yet. There's a lot of cash.
Oh, I can't even hear that. Hold on a second here. Let's see if you can. No, you can't hear that either. Dang it. My hope is that they're going to have a link to a better sound quality. Nope. Damn. Shoot. All right. Well, what I'll do is I'll post up a link to this. This is a very interesting watch. I mean, literally, he mentions the reverse repo and how it's being utilized or misutilized. And I swear he basically gets a death threat right on live television. It's pretty ugly. And if I can find a link to something for that's a little bit louder, I'll try to find one. But here you guys go, in case you want to go see that. It's pretty crazy. Projuler says, Casey, I've been looking for a better audio of that clip. I know. I mean, he straight up, I mean, that was a death threat. I mean, I don't see it any other way. I mean, the gist of it is they basically ask him, like, how do you get to work again? And he's like, been traveling on the subway for 44 years. And they're like, that would be terrible if something bad were to happen to you. And it's just pretty much along those lines. And it's like, holy crap. And it's just, he's literally just telling you what's happening and why it's happening and where some of the problems lie. And next thing you know, they want to cut, as soon as he starts saying the things that he's saying, and they say that they got to cut off the interview, go to commercial break as soon as he says it. And next thing you know, they're talking death threats at each other. I mean, they're throwing like literal, like, like how's your travel to work lately going kind of stuff. And it's like, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah. There's a lot of people's money involved in this stuff, guys. And you got to remember that there's scary things happen. Scary things happen to some people when stuff like that, when money's being threatened. There is a translation to text in the post below. Let me check. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep, you're right. It is. Let's see here. So it says can't post. Let's see here. Dude one says, right. Yes, I love how it says dude one. Right, but we're not there yet. There's a lot of cash. There's $6.5 trillion in money market funds. That's the money I was talking about earlier. That at some point is going to have to scramble into something else. And then Rick says, it is Rick. Rick says 1.4 trillion in a parking lot. That if it hits the marketplace, buckle up, baby. And dude one says, that's the money market funds. And Rick says, I'm talking about the reverse repo market. And then the dude says, but some of that could end up in stocks too. Joe Kernan says, tell me, we got to go. It's kind of cool seeing you here, Rick. How's it going in Chicago? Everything going all right? Anything going on? And Rick says, nothing. And then Joe says, exactly. And then Rick says, Bears and the Cubs. And then Joe says, no, I didn't mean that. Where do you live? Do you drive to work? Armored car? And Rick says, I take the train. I'm on my 44th year of taking the train. And Joe says, all right. Be careful. There's not a lot of great things in Illinois. Yeah. I mean, it's you got to watch it. You got to watch it because it's something else. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But you know what? It's just about time for numbers. Let's see here. Oh, son of a biscuit. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I left my phone since I'm sleeping downstairs with the dog lately. I got to go run to my phone because it's on charge right now. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Bruno's starting his panting again here, so I'm probably going to have to cut this off early here. I'm just going to run through the numbers. I'm going to go through the comment section real quick here and just see what you guys have been saying. Because I know there was one that I saw briefly, but I didn't want it to stop where I was going. Teresa, thank you on the spider... wishing healing for the Bruno and prayers, whatever it doesn't come back. Just curious if the vet suggested an MRI on the spine. The next step after the stool sample that I got to take in and more pain meds that if he doesn't start eating is a specialist. At that point, the vet's like, we don't really know what's going on. So, but Big Red Apple says, Casey, are you still expecting those failure to delivers to be closed out soon? AMC, obviously. I know you said end of September, but can you see some upward price action soon due to it? I can't tell you exactly when that's going to be. I think it should be... So we did see price movement upwards. We had at least one day where we had like a 12% up movement in price. Obviously, it came back down, but we did have that initial run up. We're up over 10% for the last couple weeks. In regards to whether or not we're going to continue to move upwards, we'll take a look at the numbers here, and this failure to delivers are definitely stacking. I think they become due. Some of the bigger amounts of failure delivers become due later on this month, and I'd have to take a look at the actual numbers to see, but because I can't remember the dates off the top of my head. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up a screen here real fast. Stats. Without the next reporting of numbers, which I won't see until middle of this month, I can't give you a date, but I can tell you that 10 it would be after 10/19. So I can tell you it'd be in the later portion of this month. All right, let's take a look at some of these numbers. I'm going to take you guys over the other screen here. I'm not going to be able to see what it is you guys are saying, so hold those personal thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns until you see the big tramp back up on the screen again. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. Starting in the top left-hand side, obviously we're not doing the price predictions right now. Short exempt volume. I updated all this information here earlier this morning. Actually, that short exempt volume may have not been updated. Hold on a second here. Let me just verify it. It has not been updated, and it's actually lower than the 100,000 that I wanted to see. So, yeah, it's that sucks, but it is what it is. 87.4 thousand shares going through there. Let me update that real fast. Unfortunately, because of that, I'm going to have to drop that to a red sell. If I can... I know, Bruno. I'm coming, bud. All right, 87.4 thousand. So everything else is updated there. No, it's not all updated. Holy, what the heck? I think I went to go update it and then I forgot to. 63.79% for utilization. Big jump from yesterday's numbers on that utilization, and we had about 5 point. Well, we'll look it out here in a few minutes, but it was about 5.99 million shares went on loan as of last night, which was or yesterday, I should say, which is a pretty significant amount, and causing the short interest to rise and a couple other indicators to rise as well. So let's take a look at what we got going on here, though. Day-over-day price increase yesterday was a decrease by 3.68%. Let's check the max pain real quick. I haven't updated that yet for the day-to-day. It was $8 to start the week off. May still be $8. Yep, still at $8. Off exchange by this time of the morning, I would expect to see about, let's see, what time is it? 9:53, so 10. I would expect to see about 60% going through off exchange and EDGX combined or thereabouts, something very close to that. We got 51.67% going through off exchange and EDGX at 11.67. The combined total 63.34%, which is 3.34% higher than it should be. CHX volume is only 152 shares, not a whole lot going through there. And CHX volume for GME is sitting at 16 shares. Looking at institutional ownership. Yesterday was reported 154.363 million. Today it is at same number, no change. Taking a look at options. I'm going to log both the open interest numbers and the current volume. Highest amount of open interest for calls for the day is an $8.50 strike. It was 17.1 thousand contracts yesterday. It's 19.2 today. Highest amount of call volume currently in volume is down 50 cents from yesterday, $8.50 to $8 with 5.4 thousand contracts so far for the day. That's pretty close to on target. Some normal volume in the derivatives. $8 strike on the current amount of put volume as well. We had 6.4 thousand contracts yesterday. It's 2.5 currently. And highest amount of open interest is at a $7.50 strike. Yesterday there was 13,000 contracts at that amount. Now it's 13.6. The market still, for the end of the week, the market's targeting a $7.50 to $8.50 close, which is $8. And by the end of today, the market's signaling for a close somewhere right around $8. So I mean, we're really kind of holding that $7.99 market cap when you include the potential dilution that I showed you guys from the past. So it's kind of interesting how that $7.99 number or $8 is really coming into play. Let me move a couple screens around real quick here, and we'll take a look at a little bit more information. Give me just a second. I think, okay, yeah, that should be right. Alrighty. Starting with ORTX. What's going on there? So far borrowed for the day-to-day 1.29 million shares. That's going to cause the estimated short share interest of the free float to rise to 12.4%. Cost to borrow mins at 0.2, negative 0.2. They're paying people to take shares. Cost to borrow average is at 1.84 and cost to borrow max is at 3.14. I've always stated that whenever the min's like a negative number, that means that I think all that really means is that somebody's returning shares the same day. So they're borrowing and returning so fast that it shows up as a negative number. Taking a look at utilization, we had some specific numbers that jumped up here, and it's kind of nice to see. Our utilization did drive up overnight, almost 10%. It went from 54.25 to 63.79%. Why is that? It's because the on-loan amount increased yesterday quite dramatically. It was 5.99 million shares, driving from 26.23 to 32.22 million shares. Now, for those of you who are curious, how many millions of shares would that be if this hadn't been for reverse split and a conversion? And the answer to that is 59 million shares, nearly 60 million shares pre-reverse split numbers. Now, I hate going back to those pre-reverse split numbers, but I want you to understand the magnitude of how many shares are being borrowed here. These are extensively large number of shares that are being borrowed, and that means something. It means a lot. It's going to drive up, obviously, the estimated short share interest of the free float, the free float, from 10.98% to 12.15%, which is a pretty dramatic. See, that's a 1.17 percent change. So that's a really, really dramatic amount. That means, based off of the numbers I'm getting right now, that means that ORTX is estimating that about, of that 5.99 million new shares on loan, 2.316 million of that was in new short interest. And that's just an estimate, obviously. I'm just going to put 2.31. Good enough. Good enough for government work. This is really an interesting number that I'm going to show you next here. On loan average age per day. I'm pretty sure when I read this number to you yesterday, it wasn't nearly this high, which I'm a little perplexed as to. In fact, I feel like it went down yesterday, or maybe it was slightly up, but now look at it. In contrast, it seems like they may have updated the numbers. There may have been a reporting that came across that changed the numbers. But look how much it changed by. It went from 8.48 days on loan all the way up to 11.29 days on loan. What does that mean exactly? When you have on loan amounts dipping and a huge sudden increase in on loan amount, that means that the chances are that most of the really newer loan shares are all gone, and suddenly that caused the a quantity of the quantity of days, how old these loans are, to drastically drive upwards. And then all of a sudden you see that most of the newer positions are closed out, and suddenly you see a spike in on loan amount by nearly 6 million shares. So it's almost like they closed out enough of their newer positions that they're ready and willing to take out a bunch of new shorting positions in a large lump sum, is what this is basically pointing towards here. And so, of course, with 6 million new shares coming on loan, it's going to drop that 11.29 on loan average age per day down to 9.52, which is a pretty significant drop back down. Didn't quite go back all the way down to what it was previously, but it did drop. Security lending volume. Yep, there it is. A bunch of newly loaned positions, a lot of volume here. We went up in volume on security lending volume from 2.58 million to 9.71. Majority of all positions that were borrowed yesterday ended up turning into loan shares. A vast majority of them. So some interesting data there. Just pulling this up real quick here, I think. And I don't remember specifically who I covered this with, but I have written on my board. This might have been a number that I looked at with some people last night. The final number that I had last night was 321.32 on MMRI. It's dropped down a little bit. It's now 317.53. So it's a little bit lower. But still really, really, really high. Orders by Fidelity customers. AMC did not make this list yesterday due to low volume. I don't expect it to be on the list again today either. I think there probably will be lower quantities of volume. GME is on the list, has an 84.3% buy to 15.7% sell ratio. And AMC is not on the list. You can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be shills out there that are going to be like, hey, I guess you guys aren't moving as much volumes. I can see it coming. SSR tripping point for the day today is at $7.07. Shares available to borrow right now is showing up at 2.4 million shares available to borrow. I haven't been tracking these numbers since earlier this morning, so I have no idea how much was borrowed. I didn't refresh it just now because I wanted to show you that there's at least 800,000 shares being borrowed here and then mostly returns for the rest of the day. So since 7 o'clock this morning, it's been about 800,000 shares. I just gave it a nice little refresh, and it still looks like return on shares currently at this point. You can see the ETFs have also been having returns. We have 94,000 contracts currently out of the money on the calls versus 9.8 thousand contracts that are in the money. 31,000 contracts are out of the money on the puts versus 20.4 thousand contracts that are in the money. How's this lovely market of ours doing right now? NASDAQ up 0.37, Dow Jones down 0.29, and the S&P 500 is down 0.09. We have 4,037 decliners to 2,020 advancers. The market is more declining than advancing, and that's not quite on hot lava fire, but it is definitely not... poor Bruno's groaning behind me. It's certainly not very high. Banks. What you doing, banks? Let's see here. Anything plus or minus 2.75 or greater, I will of change. I will read off. Silvergate is up 9.09. I've often mentioned that usually when these two are up, AMC is going up, which is usually interesting. That might be buying of some assets that those banks may have, bad assets that those banks may have had, which could mean potentially closing on positions for AMC. Maybe. I'm not sure, but usually these being green means AMC is green. We are green right now. Let's see here. But Silvergate up 9.09%. Is that going to be the only bank I read off? It is. Only bank. Ethereum Classic is down 1.24 and trending down. Actually, you know, it's starting to consolidate a little bit, and maybe it may be currently breaking that trend down and maybe starting to head up. DXY is down 0.1, still trending inside of this ascending parallel channel upwards. You can see here there's a nice little doji candle, which might signify a pullback a little bit here on the US dollar. Oil currently down 6.82 and trending down and consolidating. I just recently saw a report that was talking about strategic oil having strategic oil being like 17 days away from being depleted. I have not verified that for myself. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Let's see here. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not sure where they're getting their numbers from. The numbers seem to have actually gotten a little bit larger since the last reporting that I'm seeing here, by a little bit. So I'm not sure where that 17 days is coming from. So I'm not, I don't know if I would sign up for that necessarily, buying into that, but that's something that I heard somewhere. I'm not sure how it's being calculated because I'm not seeing that based off these charts here. This last reported time was for the month of July. We don't have any data for August or September yet. The next release date's 9/29. I'm sorry, next release date is 10/31. So at the end of this month, we should see some more data. Mortgage-backed securities are up anywhere from 0.37 to 0.38 and consolidating. SPY is up 0.01 and trending down. VIX is currently down 0.96. I do want to mention here real fast that on a daily, this today identifies or marks the point at which we broke this heavily supported resistance line here. So we've got 3 different contacts points on the way down here where the VIX is not broken beyond that. And today marks the very first day of a full candle above that number, where we're sitting at 19.59 currently, but down a little bit right now for the day. And trending, I'd say currently trending up. VBR is down 0.73 and trending down. VB is down 0.59, trending down. Tesla is up 3.85 and trending up. Amazon is up 1.23 and trending up. Might be moving into a little bit of consolidation. Cinemark is up 0.03 and starting a trend up. Doge is down 0.9 and consolidating. Bitcoin is down 0.15 and it looks like it's breaking the downwards trend and into some consolidation with current trend up. GME is up 0.48 and trending up. HYMC is down 3.44 and consolidating. NCMI is up 0.97 and consolidating. HOOD is up or down rather 0.1 and starting to trend up. And AMC is up 1% and starting a break or a trend upwards here. Hitting the upper Bollinger Band as we're moving along, which usually means we're going to come back down and retest the simple moving average along the way. Inflow versus outflow for the day today. We have about $600,000 more inflow than outflow. 5.16 million shares traded so far for the day today after 99 minutes worth of trading, putting us on a pace for 20.32 million shares traded by the end of the day. Of course, it's pretty early in the morning still, so if I had to guess, by the end of the day today, we'll probably see somewhere between 10 and 13 million shares traded, which, if I look at the historical numbers, it's kind of in the wheelhouse of what we've been seeing. It's definitely more volume than we had yesterday, that's for sure. Taking a look at a 4-hour chart, we've got currently more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 49.26, which is average. On a 1-hour chart, more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 49.21, which is average. On a 30-minute chart, more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 49.6, which is average. And on a 5-minute interval, we had a divergence in the vortex indicator occurring within the last 10 minutes, and with more buying pressure, RSI at 58.38, which is above average. Taking a look at the 1-hour Ichimoto, green cloud, we didn't technically, on a 1-hour, we didn't technically get a full break below the cloud as price had moved back up into the cloud before the next hour had started. And we're currently at 793, which is nearly breaking out to the top side of this green cloud. A breakout to the top side of green clouds is very, very, very bullish. Normally that happens only through red clouds. So if we were to see price driving up north of 830, which I think is the number that I gave you guys yesterday, maybe, or 2 days ago. Might have been 2 days ago. If we see something north of 830, there should be some additional buying pressure that kicks in at that point, as it should become a pretty strong buy signal. Lagging line is below price line. Let me get rid of the rest of the lines here so you can see everything. Lagging line's below price line, conversions below base, so those both need to pop up and above those numbers, and that should occur by 8:30. Taking a look at a 4-hour chart, we've got lagging line right on price line, again breaking above 812 or 8. Let's just call it 815, would get the lagging line above price line. Conversion's already above base, but the problem is at 8:15 we're right smack dab in the cloud, and so in order for this to really become a strong buy signal, we would need to see 8:35. So the 1 hour and 4 hour charts are in very close agreement for what price needs to be to get that big strong buy signal. And I think that's all I got for you guys. It's like an hour straight of talking about dogs and stocks. That's what I should just... We're going to rename the channel to AMC Dogs and Charts. Or something like that. And ADD. Essentially, Pro Jeweler. You know what it's all about. All right, I think that's all I've got for you guys. Now would be a good time to ask questions, as I can see what it is you guys are saying again. Let's see. Ariel says, morning Casey, I truly hope Bruno pulls through with that massive borrowing. Do you believe that shorts will attempt a huge attack and or try to control the price per share when Q3 numbers start to roll in? It's possible. Yeah, I mean, a borrowing in advance for what they know is coming for the future, very, very possible. Pro Driller says, wait, what? Dr. D says the first rule about the reverse repo is that nobody talks about the reverse repo. 2 weeks, Brian. 2 weeks. He's getting a little bit better, Nick. Hence the reason why I'm here. So he's actually laying down very peacefully behind me. So I'm tempted to just kind of so there's a problem with me leaving him there. He'll just lay there until he doesn't ever move again. I have to forcibly move him, and so periodically I have to check in on him and make sure that I'm moving him around, because he will literally just lay there until I'm pretty sure he's just done for. So I got to keep him moving around. I actually you guys are going to think this is so strange. Maybe you won't think this is strange. Maybe you'll think this is perfectly normal. But I've got I guess it's probably a step under professional grade massage tool, because it really helps a lot. If you don't have one of those things, I highly recommend getting one. But anyways, I've been using that on him. He actually really thinks that's his behind quarters, especially like he's got some really big muscles in his back legs, and he can't lift his back legs up to get himself up off the ground, or at least he couldn't. He is starting to be able to do that now, but those muscles seem to be like tightening up on him to where I think they're like seizing up in a way, and so massaging those muscles and really seems to be something that is helping him to gain mobility back again, which is great. But Brandon says sounds like limes. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. Blood work came back okay. The ultrasound was good. The x-rays were good. I got to get a stool sample from him, which he hasn't had a BM since I think Sunday. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna head to Costco, grab him some chicken. And they told me that I could do the canned chicken. They also told me that I could do the chicken, the rotisserie chicken, just with no skin. I get to eat some skin today. And yeah, that's no the I'm not the way I'm reading that word, Brian. That's usually it's only younger dogs, I think. But he got his shots when he was younger, so I can't imagine that's what it is. He's gonna be 9 in December, Barry. I'll tell you what, I'm going to head back to the back of the big tramp here, just to say hi to everybody. I have been, oh, nobody's back there, just Tom. Tom's got both his mic and his headset off, so I'm not going to go back there and disturb him. He might be sleeping. If there was a bunch of people back in the back of the big tramp, I probably would have gone back there. But I have been doing that over the last few days, like when I find a chance to be able to get on for a couple hours, I go back there instead of starting up a live stream because I don't want to get you guys' all hopes up that I'm going to be able to sit here consistently and do the same thing because I gotta pay attention to the DOG. I don't know when things are going to change and then I need to be there for him. Yeah, I know 9's not that old, and I've been sleeping downstairs. So last night. Uh, I don't know how this happened, but I must have fallen asleep and my head kinked over to the side, and I fell asleep with my sitting up. My head was resting on my hand, my fist, and I had drool all down the side of my face, and I woke up and I couldn't even pick my head up. Here, I'll try to show you what kind of I was like this. I fell asleep like this, and literally like my knuckles were soaked, and it was just like, and I was sitting there, and I woke up, and I was just like, gotta move my head, and I couldn't pick my head up off my fist. My neck was hurting so bad, so I had to reach around. I could take my fist out from underneath, and I reached around. I started massaging my neck muscles, and then finally I could pick my head up straight, and I finally was able to get myself out of that stupid chair. And so then I went upstairs and took a nice hot shower and loosened up all the muscles, and it felt pretty good afterwards. Drool everywhere. I drooled everywhere. Drooling all over myself. But yeah, force feeding a dog is probably like, this dog is so hard to force feed. We don't have that here, Steve. This is Texas. What did Bell Creek say? We had to put our cowboy Pit down the other day. He was 14 and had a wonderful life. Got to the point he could not stand eat poo. When we would hold him up off the ground, his front and rear paws curled. Yeah. Bruno's kind of the same. He's actually starting to get a little bit better, and I'm sorry for your loss, by the way. He's kind of the same. His front side is actually real strong still. He can still get his front end up, but his back end just doesn't want to stand. And fortunately, starting late last night, he finally was starting to stand on his own and move himself around, which was good. But I'm trying. I'm trying to nurse him through this as best as I possibly can. Which, we had one of the kids' birthdays was in September, and she turned 18, and so we have a party boat planned event for her 18th birthday, and we wanted to take Bruno with us. So he loves swimming, and we thought we were going to take him with us, but now he's not going to be able to go, and so I'm really worried about that and how that's going to play out. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. We are up 1.11% at 793 right now. He doesn't have any place to jump off of, so that's not a possibility. His hips don't seem. I mean, they've done like 2 full checkups on him at the vet office to make sure from 2 different vets that are at the center that I go to, and they're completely perplexed by what's going on with them. They have no idea. Like, there's nothing that's showing signs of distress. The only thing that, you know, he's showing signs of pain, and that's what we can't figure out is where is the pain coming from. He does seem to tense up when you touch his stomach area, but everything in the X-rays and on the ultrasound everything all looks good. So, and the blood works fine. So it's like, there's nothing really out of the ordinary that really kind of stands out. He's got no temperature. I had mentioned something about poisoning. I live in a subdivision that's kind of used to be farmland, and so there's a lot of rats that we have around here, and so a lot of people try to put out rat poison. The vet said that there's 2 different main types of rat poison. One of them would cause bleeding in his stools, which we have not seen, even though he's only pooped twice. I have not seen anything, because it more than likely would show up in his blood, in his urine as well, and he hasn't. None of that's happening. So there's no blood coming out anywhere. And the other one she said is really, really nasty, and would cause neurological problems where. She said she doesn't see any signs of him having any neurological problems right now. So those are kind of ruled out. They checked him over for ticks, no ticks. I'm telling you guys, it's like, yep, they checked everything. No turned stomach, no hernia. They checked his prostate. They have checked everything on this dog, and there's nothing showing up. Other than him being a little arthritic, which they didn't even say it was that bad. It was very mild. Unless he's just like a massive wuss. Yeah, we didn't give him any bones. No bones. He hasn't had any chocolate. Because we don't even have any chocolate right now in the house to give. Even with Halloween coming up, we don't have any chocolate out. You know what? It's. I'm laughing, Jenna, only because it's so true. It's kind of like a man with a cold. Exactly. Yep, you nailed it. That's funny. No, we don't have any toads. No looking toads. Yes, SV Tweety Bird, I can post it. Give me 1 second.
I personally always.
That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. It's also that's a link to my tweet, or is that my tweet? That's a link to the tweet that I posted that will give you the video. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Puda Kettleton, or Ket Leon. Thank you. Yes, I know. I know they're not supposed to have chicken bones. I wasn't planning on giving me any. I appreciate the warning. They also said not to give him any skin. The vet said not to give him any skin either. So there, he won't be getting any skin, no bones. No, it's Jenna. It's appreciated. It's totally appreciated. Has he been partying with Rogan? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Apparently, he hasn't been doing the right juicing patterns. Holy cow, Frank, that's crazy. Nope, no curry. I can't show you him. I mean, I can't really move the camera too easily. He's kind of behind me and behind a table, so I don't think you'd be able to see him at all. So I can't really show him. Right now he's laying down. If he was standing right next to me, I probably could show you. Frank says Taco Bell. He'll be using the restroom in no time. Yeah, that's like I said. I need to go to Costco here. I'll probably end the live stream here in about 30 minutes, and then head out to Costco, grab him some chicken, and give him some lunch. Because he ate the deli meat that I have pain medication that I'm giving to him right now, and I've had to force feed him 3 different types of canned food, wet food. And he's to the point now where the smell of any one of those 3 is enough to make him just, just not even want to eat. I mean, he clams up now because he knows what's coming because I have to force feed him. So, but then I wrapped his pills in some fresh deli meat, which I was told was okay to give to him, and it was because it was turkey, and so I wrapped up his meds in that, and he ate that no problem. So I'm hoping that if I go to Costco, grab some of that chicken, maybe I can get him a full meal in today, and or maybe even 2 full meals in, and then by tomorrow we'll be set to go. Alex, it's the best thing. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Go try that Taco Bell out. You'll be all right. You know, it's funny, Frank. I don't remember when we went to Taco Bell last. I want to say it was like a week ago. There's literally a taco, or maybe even 2 tacos, sitting in our fridge that the kids didn't eat. That have been sitting there. I bet it would be even better to feed him like a week-old taco. And I'm sure that would really get him going. Oh, he's always had bad breath, 32 Viper. I mean, just like, he's always had like the worst breath ever, so. But he doesn't that's not his problem. His teeth aren't sensitive right now. Yep, I'm gonna go grab the canned chicken as well. While I'm there, I'm gonna grab the rotisserie and the canned chicken, and probably one of the things I was thinking about making them was, and this should really get them going, hard-boiled eggs with just the egg white. And mixing that up with some of the chicken, and giving that to him. Yep, aged Taco Bell. Nothing like that. That's what the vet said. They said not to do the egg. She said if you wanted to give them, she said if you want to give them 2 eggs, that's fine, but make sure it's just 1 egg yolk. She said the egg yolk was would be too much. So the vet instructions were no, to limit the egg yolk or not have any in there at all. I don't know. I don't know the reason behind it. I know it's more healthy for humans too. I don't know the reasoning behind it. And that was another question that I asked him too. I said, "What about like how I prepare the eggs? Doesn't matter if it's scrambled versus over easy versus hard boiled." And the vet said it didn't matter. Yeah, 32C Viper might. Bruno is the exact opposite. He is probably one of the most pickiest eaters, which is making this entire thing really, really difficult for us. Every dog I have ever owned before, what you just stated, would normally work for them. You know, a little hot or warm water to add to the, just a little bit, just to soften up the food, and it makes it like perfect for the dogs. I add a little bit of that to Bruno's food, and he will not. He absolutely will not touch it. He does not like his food to have water added to it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. He's such a picky eater. It's rough because it's like, you know, you want to you want to help him out. But he didn't want to eat nothing. It's just like, oh, I can't help you, dude, if you're not going to eat anything. Dario says, did he get a glance at the AMC chart lately? It's not moving anywhere, Dario. That's the crazy part, right? If you pull us over to a 5-minute chart and zoom out a little bit on this, I actually might have to make it to a 10-minute chart here. But yeah, no, if you pull out to a 5-minute chart on this, we're really not moving that all that much. I mean, the bottom support lines are in here at around 777. Top support lines are in at around 843 or thereabouts, maybe even 837. Anything in between is fair game, and that's what we've just kind of been hovering right around there for like the last 4 trading days. So and we're not moving a whole lot. We already know that max pain for the week is $8. All the derivatives are pointing towards $8. What do you think we'll close at? $7.99 by the end of the week. Yeah, I tried the pumpkin thing. We actually had problems with Bruno a few months back, and but that was because it was my fault. I fed him something that was not something that was good for him. And we tried the pumpkin thing once. He's not a pumpkin fan at all. He will not touch it. This dog is like allergic to vegetables. I don't know why. He won't eat anything vegetable related. Oh, yeah, I can show you. I'm trying to think if I already have I think I have a picture of him somewhere. Hold on a second.
Always find anniversary dates very key.
That's
And
not what I wanted. I know I've posted up a picture of him before. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to think where I need to go to find this. Wait, I think I know. Give me 1 second. I could just take a picture of him and probably do this a lot quicker. Tell you what, it'd probably just be easier for me to just take a picture and then put it up here. Give me a second. I gotta go grab my phone off the charger and take a picture. I'll be right back. All right, that's uploading to my Discord. As soon as it goes through, I will pull it up so you can see it. AMC's up 1.91% at $8 even. Yep, that's what I'm saying, guys. Anything pumpkin, I've tried it. I've tried mixing pumpkin into several different things. He won't eat it. He won't touch it. Not a chance. If it has hints of aroma of pumpkin, he turns his head and will not even look at it. So no chance on that. Which I think last time he had stomach problems, I decided to buy like several cans of pumpkin thinking like, oh, this surely, this is going to work. And I've got a bunch of cans of pumpkin now sitting in my pantry. Did not work. All right, here you go. Here's a picture of Bruno. There he is. Just chilling like a villain. The vet thinks he's a mixed lab. I think they probably are right. I just don't know. They thought maybe husky. But he's a big dog, let me tell you. He was, when we went in on Saturday, this last week, he was 101 pounds. He's a big dog, really big dog. He's a little overweight, but not too much. I mean, he's not really that bad. And, I mean, I've seen worse. But for a dog his size, he's not a lap dog, that's for sure. Although I think sometimes he'd like to be a lap dog. Thanks, blah, blah. I appreciate it. Trevor, good morning. Yeah, it's not bloat. There's no bloat there. So when I went into the vet on Saturday, I showed him a picture of the food that we're feeding him, which is Purina One lamb and rice formula. And my vet tech said, hey, that's the same brand I feed my dog, and made no mention to any kind of recall for that whatsoever. So that was as of Saturday. I don't know, Neds. Every single time I've ever gone to a vet, if I'm feeding my dog something that they don't approve of, they are very, at least the vet that I go to, they're very adamant in saying that's not a good food. I've had that happen plenty of times in the past because Bruno's so picky. We were trying to figure out what he would eat and what he wouldn't eat. And so I was going through a bunch of different brands, and every time I'd take him into the vet, they'd be like, "What brand food are you feeding him?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm feeding him this one." And we finally found one he likes, and they'd be like, "Ooh, you might not want to try that one. You might want to try this one instead." So they're usually very, very vocal about whether or not the food's a good one. But they have never pushed the Purina. But they haven't said anything bad about it, but they've never pushed it either. They actually push different brands, more expensive stuff that I'm not willing to buy. I think we used to. Carol says I use Purina One chicken and rice. I think we had him on the chicken and rice for a long time, but then the vet was saying that like since he was getting a little bit older, that we should probably switch up his diet a little bit. So that's why we moved over because I think that particular one is a for older aged dogs. I think. No, that is not suggested right now, Dario. They've explicitly told me that right now what he needs is either a deli meat, straight up chicken or chicken out of a can, or the 3 or 4 different brands of wet food that they gave to me and said nothing else. But seeing as how he ate the deli meat earlier this morning pretty easily, that's why I'm going for the Costco chicken here in a little bit. Gee whiz, Nana, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Actually, you know what? I need to look and see if I have any of that. I'll just pick some up anyways. We'll take a look at the numbers here in about 15 more minutes, guys. I know I normally look at it around 10, and I think I skipped 10 o'clock. Or maybe I didn't skip 10. I don't know. No, I guess I started at 10. Never mind. Maybe? I don't know. No, I started at 9:30, 9:40. We'll take a look at the numbers at 11, and then I'll probably sign off. Looks like they're going to barcode us at $8. Go figure. It's not so much that it's stuck. It's just not. We're not getting the institutional buying that we need right now. I think that they will be incentivized to buy here shortly. I think that we're getting so. Part of the reason why we're not seeing incentivized buying at this point is that they sold. All of our institutions sold like middle of last month, and they've got to wait at least 30 days before they can start buying again. In fact, the last point at which they stopped selling was probably right around. Well, we can go back and look at the actual numbers and just see. Going back to 1 hour chart, one of the last periods of times that they sold was somewhere right around here, and so I would say they probably stopped selling by 9/8. So they've got to wait at least 30 days before they can start. In order to avoid a wash sale, they would not be able to start buying again until 30 days have passed. So a lot of our institutional brokers are kind of at an impasse right now, where they're just kind of waiting for that time period to end so that they can start buying back in. So we're, as a result, and as you can see from the data here, we're kind of at an impasse right now where it's just, there's not a whole lot of buying going on. But once those 30 days are up, we should see some additional institutional buying going on, as I think they need the shares, and they should start buying. One of the things you have to remember is that, oh, and by the way, I received my proxy vote material for 2 different brokers. I think one last night, and then I think the other one maybe the day before. So two of my brokers have sent me proxy material. Hopefully you guys are seeing that as well. Yes, I actually. Do I have a Chipotle near me? I think that is a Chipotle. What is that? I think, yeah. I have a Chipotle near me. That's pretty funny. Teresa says, "You think he was picky before? Wait till they taste the food. You've been holding out on him." I know that's one of my biggest fears about giving him this food is that if I go out and I make this is what he's gonna start expecting. I'm really not looking forward to that, Teresa. You're not wrong, and I'm gonna make it like maybe a 2 to 3 day event, and then that's it. I'm not doing this all the time. Dario, no, I cannot tell you where to check yes and where to check no. I will say this. Do you think, I guess this is a question you should ask yourself before you start voting. Do you trust your the board of directors, and do you trust your CEO of the company? I personally do. I also think that they look out for their best interests for the company more than they do necessarily the stockholders. But they're supposed to be looking out for everybody. So they're supposed to be looking out for us and the company. Obviously, their best interests don't lie in necessarily trying to see a MOAS, so they're not targeting a MOAS of any sorts. But if you trust them and you think that what it is that they're doing is a good job, then there's no reason why you should distrust how they're suggesting you to vote. And of course, they're telling you that they want you to vote on everything on there as a yes. There has been some misleading talk about some of the different proposals. Specifically, like I think one of the big ones I think that has been kind of brought up that I think is a little bit being misled is the idea that hold on, I'm pulling it up here. I'm trying to look to see which one it is. I think it's number 5. Yeah, number 5. Proposal number 5 is the one that says to approve an amendment to our certificate of incorporation to expand the exculpation provision to limit the liability of certain officers. And I think it's really important to note that that this already exists. It's for the board members. All they're doing is they're expanding it to other officers within the company, which AMC is saying is a standardized allowance that's being given to people within companies across the board, industry wide. Meaning that if AMC doesn't have this as a standard practice, if they choose to hire people in the future and those people see that that they're not meeting at least the minimum expectations on protection from the company for doing what it is, making business decisions, everyday business decisions, then why would you want to be incentivized to work for a company that doesn't meet expectations industry wide? And so I think that's kind of the part that has been bothering me a little bit with some of the way that I've been seeing it presented, is that it's like somehow or another we're writing off or giving no ability to go after people for making bad decisions, and that's not what this is. It's completely something else entirely. So when you go and you read that, just note that it's something entirely different. There's also, Trevor says emailed at 3 a.m. today. Yep, I was awake this morning when it happened. That's when I got mine as well. Because I was sitting there going like, oh, hey, look, just came through. So yeah, you can already, you can go and vote currently. But I think there's a lot of information in the proxy that you can probably skip over. There is a underlying topic that's brought up on multiple occasions, and I already kind of covered this with you guys once before. But in regards to talking about all this, I don't want to beat a dead horse. So likely what I'm going to do is maybe like a week before the voting is before we have to have the votes in, I will probably do a very detailed video on covering all the different proposals, what I think that they mean, and I won't tell you how I'm voting, but perhaps maybe kind of dispel some of the misnomers that we very frequently get. Yeah. And the reason that I'm going to wait so long is because every time that I've ever seen, and this has been an ongoing issue with all the votes that we've had, every time that I've tried to put out information too early, everybody forgets that it exists, and nobody cares, and everybody waits until the last second to vote. And so I don't see any reason for me to rush my video or talking about this at all, because I think it's good for people to sit and think about it. And I think that people oftentimes tend to wait to vote, and believe it or not, you can actually change your vote along the way. So if you change your mind at some point, you can always go back in there and change your vote. And in fact, I will be reminding people the night before to check before 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to go in and verify. Actually, I would suggest you just do it like before you go to bed. So hopefully if you're going to bed at like 9, well, that might be too late for people on the West Coast. I'm going to just basically tell people before 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the day when the vote ends to go back in and recheck your votes, because I've had mine changed before. So I'm gonna make sure that I make sure that you guys go back in and check and verify that your votes are accurate, and change them if you need to. Ned's welcome. You're not only right, you're also a little behind. We already have Beyonce signing her deal for her movie as well. So and there's rumors of others as well. Let me check something out real quick here. I don't know if you guys saw this, and I kind of wanted to make mention of this real fast here. Adam Aaron posted out 12 hours ago. What time would that be? Oh, I guess late last night. Okay. 11 o'clock last night or thereabouts. He said the legendary Francis Ford Coppola, I'm probably saying his last name incorrectly, Coppola, I don't know, is responsible for the American Graffiti, Apocalypse Now, the Godfather trilogy, and so many more wonderful films. Tonight in LA, he talked about the artistry of cinema. He said, "My heart lives in movie places and always will." I want to... hold on a second here. Give me 1 second. I've seen some rumors. Is this the one? Tinfoil hat time. I didn't know. Hold on a second. Let me look up one more thing real fast here. How do I do this? Okay. Where is this? Did he post it? He didn't post it. Sorry, give me a second. I wasn't prepared to talk about this. Oh, yeah, here we go. I thought this was interesting. I can just show you this whole page. This is great. I'm going to take you over to the other page here real quick and just show you this. DVG, and I thought this was very, very interesting. Posted something in here. I don't know if you guys saw this. But DVG posted, just going to leave this right here. Time will tell. This is the closest I'll ever come to doing a decode. And to which he posted up a tweet to Coppola Wine. Francis Ford Coppola Winery. And if you go to the link that he's got set up here, and you search through some of these videos that they're posting up here, which I thought was kind of interesting. There was one in particular that I saw, diamonds. Let's see here. It was this one probably, I think. There's that. There's also this this video right here, where you can see the director that Adam Aaron had put into the...
If you want to make art, you also have to be comfortable with risk and take a chance that you know best. If you want to make art, you also have to be comfortable with risk and take a chance that you know best.
So interesting stuff going on there. Some links, perhaps, maybe to the post that Adam Aaron put up. That might end up being the supporting brand for the AMC wine label that we have going out. I thought that was kind of interesting, and the links there are very. I mean, when you consider the fact that the videos that they're showing on their site literally have Coppola, I'm probably saying his name horribly wrong, in the videos. Oh, I just noticed his socks are mismatched. My kids would love that. I just now noticed. He's got stripes on one and baseballs and pizza on the other. I love this guy. I don't know him, but I like him already. That's pretty cool. Takes a comfortable person to wear mix matching socks. So anyways, I thought that was kind of interesting. Get the F out. The Outsiders? You mean Golden State Golden Pony Boy? Isn't that Outsiders? You gotta be kidding me. Hold on a second here. Isn't that the Outsiders? Yeah, that's the Outsiders. Holy crap! What are the chances? That's kind of odd. Damn. It's like, that's something I used to say all the time to one of my engineers. Stay golden, pony boy. This world is so weird how you have like all these like weird things that like just kind of like mix match. And I know it's like, it's just American, it's just culture, right? Like it's just cultural things. But then you see, the Beavis and Butthead literally moving, the movie starts off. The preview for the movie starts off with the exact same song with the rocket launch that I use every single morning. And I see stuff like that and I go like, dude, what the hell? What are the chances? It's crazy. Some of the things that happen that are just weird things like that. You see it, you go like, holy how does that work? Anyways, let's see what Bobblehead Ross thinks about. Am I saying it right? Is it Coppola? Am I saying it? I don't know. I feel like I'm saying it really wrong. Bobblehead Ross, what do you think about this wine deal here? Do you think Coppola is potentially the brand that's going to be sponsoring the AMC label?
Let's put a few little highlights in here just to make them little rascals just sparkle in the sun.
That sounds like a yes. It's Coppola. Coppola. Thank you. Oh, no, now I've got Frank saying it's Capola. Okay, so I can't. Now I don't know. Y'all are getting it. Both of y'all are saying different things. Now you're confusing me. Frank's saying Capola. Pro Jeweler says Coppola. All right, whatever. Who cares? Taking you guys over the other page here. Who cares? It's just a name. We'll run through the numbers and then I'm going to head out to the store. By the way, at 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're getting a FEMA alert nationwide because they're on your side. I've been seeing tinfoil hat stuff for a hot minute on this, talking about how people are going to turn off their phones and all kinds of crazy stuff people are suggesting that they're going to do. Remember, I'm not going to be able to see what it is you guys are saying, so hold those personal thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns until you see the big tramp back up on the screen again. Let's move a couple pages around and take a look at our numbers, see what we got going on here. Starting with off exchange. By this time of the day, I would expect to see about 62% going through off exchange and EDGX. In total, as of right now, we have 51.52% going through off exchange. EDGX is at 12.71. The combined total in that 64.23%, or 2.23% higher than it should be by this time of the day. CHX volume is 986 shares, not a whole lot. Taking a look at CHX volume on GME, it's at 744 shares, not a whole lot as well. ORTX, as of an hour ago, there was 1.29 million shares having been borrowed. That is currently being reported at 1.33 million shares. It's going to cause maybe a slight increase on that estimated short share interest of the free float for the day to 12.41%. Cost to borrow mins at negative 0.2. Usually, whenever I see a negative number, that just tells me that they're borrowing and returning shares in the same day. Average is 1.87 and max 8.6. Shares on loan for the day is at 32.22 million shares. That's 5.99 million shares more on loan today than there was on yesterday. And ORTX is estimating that 2.31 million of that was in new short interest. Taking a look at options. Highest amount of call volume for the day today was an $8 strike an hour ago with 5.4 thousand contracts. It is now currently 7.8 thousand contracts in volume. And on puts, highest amount of puts is at a $8 strike with 2,500 contracts, which has gone up to 3.7 thousand contracts. Market still suggesting a closing of $8 by the end of the day today. MMRI, an hour ago when I read it off to you guys, was 317.53. It is now 313.75. Which means yields are probably down a little bit, as I know DXY isn't really all that much down. We'll take a look at that, of course. AMC and GME are the only two I'm looking for on this list here. AMC has not been on it today, and GME is on here with an 83.99% buy to 16.01% sell ratio. AMC, due to low volume, is likely not on this list. SSR trigger price is at 707. Shares available to borrow showing up at 2.3 million shares available to borrow. That's 100,000 shares that they did borrow within the last hour. Fees are showing up at 1.2%. It's like 900,000 shares or somewhere. I don't remember. I haven't really been keeping track because I didn't keep a good track earlier this morning. We're looking like, I think it's about 800,000 shares borrowed so far for the day. NASDAQ is up 1.02, Dow Jones up 0.28, S&P 500 is up 0.54. We have 3,053 decliners to 3,017 advancers. The market is definitely trending up. That's about almost 1,000 more advancers this hour than there was last hour. So the market definitely taking a swing upwards here. Big bank movers for the day today. 2.75% or greater of a change gets read off. Silvergate's up 9.09%. They're the only one that I read off an hour ago and will probably remain to be the only one being discussed. They are. Ethereum Classic is down 1.29% and consolidating. DXY, or the US dollar, is down 0.3 and trending down currently. Oil is down 6.12 and consolidating. Mortgage-backed securities are up anywhere from 0.73 to 0.78 and trending up. SPY is up 0.52, trending up. VIX is down 4.55 and trending down. VBR is up 0.17, trending up. VB is up 0.16, trending up. Tesla is up 4.14 and trending up. Amazon is up 1.15, and I'm going to call it consolidating. Cinemark is up 1.43 and trending up. Doge is down 0.79 and on a slight trend up currently. Bitcoin is down 0.02, also on a slight trend up. GME is up 0.3. I smell something like chicken. It's kind of weird. It just came out of nowhere. GME is up 0.31% and trending up, but looking like it's starting to swing. It looks like it might want to break a trend here in just a second. It's starting to take a little bit of a downturn. HYMC is down 7.56 and trending down. NCMI is up 0.85 and trending up. Hood is up 1.05, trending up. And AMC is up 2.17 and trending up, but also getting that that big hard push here all of a sudden to the bottom side. Inflow versus outflow for the day today. We have approximately $300,000 more inflow than outflow. 7.07 million shares traded so far for the day today, after 163 minutes worth of trading, putting us on a pace for 16.91 million shares traded by the end of the day today. I suggested somewhere between like 10 and 13 million when I came on this morning. It's probably pretty close. It's probably going to be a little bit more volume than what we saw yesterday, but not a whole lot more. On a 4-hour chart, we currently have more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 53.94, which is slightly above average. On a 1-hour chart, more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 55.59, which is slightly above average. On a 30-minute interval, more selling pressure than buying pressure than RSI of 56.59, 57.1 actually now, which is slightly above average. On a 5-minute interval, more buying pressure than selling pressure than RSI of 65.34. Which is above average. Getting some news here. Okay, whatever. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I think I'm going to sign off. When I come back a little bit later, I might hop up into the back of the... Brian says crop dusting. Well, he's not moving around. I mean, since that's the only thing he's been eating lately, that's probably... it might be Bruno. Which is good. Michael says, looks like institutions sold off on 9/6, so Friday would be 30 days. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that we could see the buying pressure coming back in after that time in that time frame. They also sold then as well, Michael. I think the interesting thing, and I'm looking into some legal representation for shareholders as a whole. I think there might be a case for shareholders to go after brokers who are not holding positions that they claim that they're holding. So in other words, if they're lending out shares that they don't have, if they've sold off their positions, they should be doing share recalls. They can't drop a position that they say that they have, and then simply continue to lend out shares. So we've got a little bit of a problem. So we might have a lawsuit on multiple brokers. None of them are claiming that they hold 5% or more of AMC. In total, and they're way past filing for that. And the reason that they can't file it is because they would have to actually own the shares in order to make the claim that they have them. And if they don't have 5% ownership of the shares, then I mean, as it stands right now, according to what Fintel's currently reporting, what do they got us at? They got us at institutional ownership at like, what, 15.4 million shares in total? 15.4 million shares in total, with 32 million shares, double what they have loaned out. And not a single one of them is reporting greater than 5% ownership of AMC. And that would equate to, I think last time we ran the numbers, it was like 9 million shares or something like that. Yeah, 9.9, just a little under 10 million shares is what they would have to own in ownership to have to file a 13D. Or, yeah, I think it's 13D. So, which there should be at least, I would imagine, one or two institutions that should have to file that, and nobody has one. Yeah, exactly, Dario. So they've got some major lawsuits waiting for them. I think there's a lot of brokers out there who are lending shares that they should not be lending, and I think that this has nothing to do with AMC whatsoever. This is on us. This is where we need to start taking action against our brokers and saying, no, you're violating your duty to hold positions that you don't hold. And we need to take legal action against our brokers and make sure that they're held accountable and paying us reprimands for their actions. So I'm going to look into that. I'm currently going down that road a little bit. Just started yesterday, so I think we have enough proof now, and I think Adam Aron has given us that ability to be able to have the proof that we need. Especially with 40 million shares getting sold in the market, guys. Look, 40 million shares don't get sold into the market in a very short period of time, and you don't have any single institution reporting a 13D. I feel like it's a 10D, not a 13D. Why do I keep saying 13D? Hold on a second here. I feel like I'm getting it wrong. It is a 13D. I don't know why for some reason in my head, I kept thinking, oh, I know what it is. No, I know. I just figured out why, because I can never remember the amount of days that they have in order to file it, and it's 10 days. So that's why I keep thinking 10D in my head. It's a 13D within 10 days that they have to file, and nobody's filed it. Not a single institution has filed ownership of greater than 5%. Not a single one. None of them. Which means that there is not a single institution with more than 9.9 million shares. Which is a lie if they're lending out 30-something odd million shares. It's a complete farce. They do not own. They've simply sold their positions to buy in at cheaper prices and not recalled the shares that they have on loan. Because Adam Aron sold off 40 million shares. And you know we didn't buy 40 million shares, guys. You know we didn't. Retail's responsible for maybe, at the very most, you could suspect 10%. At the very most. And if you start adding up the volume that's occurred during the time that those shares were being sold in the marketplace, we wouldn't have been able to buy up all 40 million of those shares. So this should be more than enough information for a lawyer to start digging into this and working on this. Boomstick says that's why I asked if they purchased the shares to return shorts, if a 13D would be required. Probably not. But if they returned shares to the owners, then a 13D would be required to whoever that institution was that was lending out the shares. So they should be filing 13Ds. But that didn't happen. Why? because we own it all. That's why. And I'm sure we own it several times over. And this is what allows institutions to be able to buy and sell positions, and get in at lower prices and skim. Alrighty, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up for the day here. But what I want you guys to make sure, what I want you to understand here is that this is not a lawsuit against AMC, and AMC is not responsible for figuring this out. This is our job. If we think that this is between us and our brokers. If our brokers are screwing us over, which they are, it's not even an if. The data is very, very clear. It's been made very, very clear. Because they're screwing us over, this is how we need to take action. And it's not, AMC is not responsible for this. They are not required to go after anybody who, and they're not even, not only are they not required to, but they can't. They cannot go after brokers who are doing what it is that they're doing. So anybody who's out there who would suggest to you that this is AMC's fault for not exposing this, I'm telling you right now, they have done everything in their power to expose and shed a light to us as to what's going on here that they can possibly do. It's now in our grasp, in our hands, to do what it is that we need to do to go after our brokers and say, you are responsible for this price movement. You are not holding up your end of the deal and buying the shares that you say that you're holding on to of our positions. This is not AMC's fault. Don't let anybody sit there and tell you that it is, because this has nothing to do with AMC or the CEO or the board of directors. Nothing. They don't deal with this. This is not their problem. So I'm going to look into this some more. I'm really beginning just the initial phase of looking into this, and so bear with me. It's going to take some time. I gotta reach out to some people and figure out what the heck, see if I can get somebody who's going to. This is more than likely going to end up being some kind of class action lawsuit, because it's going to be against multiple brokers. It's going to be against it's going to be for an entire class action suit for all shareholders of who hold AMC. And not only this, but we have international brokers who claim to hold positions of Ape still, that it's not even supposed to be trading anymore. So it's going to take time. Don't expect anything soon to happen. But it's I'm gonna get started on it. Alrighty, guys, I'm gonna end the day. SC Formula says, just remember, if we have 3 million shareholders, we only need about 67 each to own the float. I know it's crazy, right? You guys are welcome. As usual, I wish I had some music to play out for you guys, but honestly, like, I didn't. I just wanted to get on here and give you guys some numbers for the day, because I really did not want to. But I was up again really late last night. I actually got sleep in the first portion of the night and then had to get up in the middle of the night for Bruno. But so I got a little bit more sleep, but there was no way. I was crashed the time my alarm went off in the morning for me to get up and do the live stream. There's no way I'm going to do this. So, but I'm hoping. I know I was hoping to do it today, but I'm hoping tomorrow I can get back onto my regular schedule. Because if I can feed him this chicken today and he starts doing the stuff he needs to do and he gets more energy, I don't have to worry about sitting there watching him, and maybe I can sleep in my own bed tonight. That would be beautiful. But I appreciate you guys in understanding that, I'm dealing with some stuff with the dog, and it's, I'm trying the best that I can to balance my lack of sleep. And you hear him groaning? He just groaned like for like 20 seconds there. Well, Steven, that's the thing. You have to get him on pro bono. In a class action suit, it's going to be a pro bono type thing where they're basically going to be doing this for whatever they can get from the broker. It shouldn't cost us anything. What do we expect to see out of it, or what should we expect to see out of it? A long process. Nothing that's going to happen overnight. And when I say a long process, we could be talking like 2 years or 3 years before we ever even see anything. And if there is some kind of reprimands that come back our direction from it, it'll be negligible. But hopefully, the idea is that brokers will actually start buying the shares that they need to buy, and that's what we need. We need to see actual institutions coming in buying what it is that they're supposed to be buying. So that's the key here. Is once they're under investigation and they have to start doing what it is that they're supposed to be doing, that's going to be the key part. So, all right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. As usual, all good things must eventually come to an end. Eat, sleep, drink, get plenty of rest. Tomorrow's another trading day. Spend time with your family, spend time with your friends, take your pets out for a walk because they like getting outdoors too. And for crying out loud, go see an AMC movie. That's what we're here to do, is support AMC. But above all else, don't have a good night. Have a great night. Beep, beep.